Hey everybody, welcome back to Rob's Mind, the only place to find out what's going on up here. Well, if you're like me, you basically don't have much of this. In fact, I work and I'm living paycheck to paycheck, and it seems like I can't make any ends meet. It wasn't always that way. Back after World War II, when General Motors was the biggest employer in the country, people would be able to make the equivalent of $50 an hour in today's dollars working there, and they'd work for their entire lifetime there and retire with a pension. I remember my father-in-law telling me about his father working for RCA and doing just that, and he lived comfortably for the rest of his life, for the most part. And in fact, the CEOs back then made like 30 times what an average worker would make. Nowadays, like me, everyone is jumping paycheck to paycheck. Back then, the tax rate for the highest earners was about 74 to 91%. So it was like the rich were concerned about earning that money because they knew that they were going to give it back into the government anyway. Unfortunately, that didn't last long. Once Reagan took office, he took to deregulating all the industries and trying to cut back on the tax rate. In fact, when he took office, he brought the tax rate for the highest earners from 91% down to 28% by the end of his tenure as president. Now, with Walmart being the biggest employer in the country, those same workers earn about $10 an hour on average, and they don't get anything other than their salary, and that's if they get any hours to work. And when they retire, they're stuck with nothing. The whole thing was because of something called supply side economics. Reagan thought that if he cut back on taxes and deregulated industries, that the highest earners would have more money in their pocket in order to put back into the economy. It's what they call trickle-down economics, because they figured that when the highest earners had more money and they spent more of it, that it would dwindle down to the lower income people, and they would have more money to work with and better jobs. The economy got better, more positions would open up, and the unemployment rate would go down. Got to give Reagan some credit, though, because he was trying to resolve a really bad recession that occurred throughout the 70s. I mean, anybody who lived through that, I mean, not this guy, because, well, I was a kid, but there was the long lines with the gas shortage and the rationing. And let's not forget the end of the war, which lasted over a decade. And I'm sure after that, there was a lot of bills to pay. In fact, a lot of the money that Reagan recovered through his economic plan was put back into the military budget. The only problem with his idea, even though it worked for a short period of time, people's greed took over. The rich, once they get money, they just want to keep it. They don't put it into the economy again in sufficient quantity so that way people would start getting more better paying jobs or jobs at all. In fact, nowadays people have to work 2 jobs, 3 jobs just to make ends meet. In fact, when there's a 2-adult household Everyone has to work. There is no mommy stays home and takes care of the kids anymore. It's mommy goes to work, daddy goes to work, and the kids go into daycare, which even costs more money on top of that. It's become a situation where you have to worry about whether or not you put food on the table or the roof over your head. Sometimes it's not that easy. And there's a lot of enticement out there. Commercialization, people pushing you to buy their product and this product, making it seem so glamorous that you figure you can't live without it. And in some cases, you really can't. In this day and age, if you don't have a computer with internet connection, you're in the dark ages, essentially. There's nothing you can do because so much of our society is tied up with computers. However, getting that connection, getting that service, even getting a computer is so costly that you have to sacrifice something just to get it. And then it's considered a luxury, when really something like that isn't. Where I live, in New Jersey, it's considered the third most affluent state in the country. The third. I don't even know where that money is coming from, because it ain't coming from this part of the state. Undoubtedly, it's probably coming from the northern part, where all the businesses are and the urbanization. According to the Department of Labor, the U.S. unemployment rate is about 4.3%, 4.1% in New Jersey. The annual average income for this country is $52,000 a year. In New Jersey, the average is about $70,000 as of 2015. In fact, that's about $20,000 more than the national average. In this part of the state, you can't find a job for more than $30,000 a year on average. And that's probably true of a lot of places. Household of four, groceries cost between $146 and $289 a week. That's a huge chunk out of your paycheck when you have to pay for a car to get back and forth to work, and then pay for utilities to keep the lights on, and to pay for the mortgage or the rent to keep a roof over your heads. Sometimes you just can't do it. You have to sacrifice something. In fact, housing costs in this state and in this country are out of control. Housing in New Jersey is higher than it is for the national average. It makes you wonder how anybody can afford to live anywhere. And not to mention the fact that there's usually a housing shortage. One of the big things that's going around now is low-income housing. How certain areas, when these contractors build, they have to put in X amount of low-income housing. And people are fighting it. Even the people in the areas around where these homes are going up are fighting it. It's a not in my backyard mentality, where they figure that if they have low-income housing around their own homes, it'll devalue theirs. And then those people are the ones that complain, are the ones who can afford everything. The ones who know that this talks. And the people who don't have this are SOL. And no matter how much you try and hold on to any of this, you might as well just throw it out the window, because it doesn't last. Even something like this, you have to have in this day and age. Otherwise, And having one of these is cheaper than it is to have a house phone these days. And more convenient because everyone is working. So how are you going to get in touch with anyone unless you have one? So if anybody out there has any notions at all how to make some extra money, let me know, because I sure as hell need a way of making an extra buck or two. I mean, you would think that I'm not in need of eating any more, but sometimes even food becomes a necessity. Well, that's all I have today. Money has been on my mind lately. It's been on a lot of people's minds, but now more than it usually does. But anybody has any ideas, let me know. Comment or, send me a message or something. I'm also thinking of doing a tutoring page. An idea for extra money. I'm still trying to figure out what to call it, though. I tried the Italian tutor, but that was shot down quick. I'm thinking about Professor Rob, although I'm not sure how that would go off. Seems too uppity, but my daughter wants me to start doing videos on math. So I might start out doing that. So bear with me, because I'd probably be starting out the beginning. So if all those people out there who want to watch, who can stomach me for more than a sitting or two, and who already know 1 + 1 = 2, I'll progress incrementally. Wanted to give a shout out to my daughter, Emily, and also to Jasmine. I'm hoping that she will take up the mantle and try her hand at putting some videos online. I'm told that she thinks that she has to have some fancy equipment. Right now I'm doing this on a tablet, so, the poor man's recording studio. But I'll be back with some more, hopefully a little less serious, because when you think about it, when am I ever serious? Other than that, I'll see you later, and have a good day.